Well, it helps if I turn on the microphone, right? Yeah, well. Good morning. It is 12 noon on the East Coast. It is 9 a.m. in the soggy Pacific Northwest. But we like soggy. Um, we like being soggy out here. And that means it's time for Pearl Manhattan. And this is the Pearl Manhattan Show. I am Pearl Manhattan, and today we are talking about music of the movies, Star Wars, the incredible John Williams, the amazing John Williams, the phenomenal John Williams. He is, movies are the modern day opera from classical music. Pardon me if I'm a little scattered. I just woke up and we're doing this remote learning, and we just got off the morning Zoom call, which my son doesn't do well in remote learning, so I'm a little scattered, but I'm here. We're going to do this today. I love the Star Wars movies. I love the Star Wars music. I think John Williams is an amazing composer. And today we're going to get a little musically technical about the music of Star Wars, but not too technical. I'm going to try to put it in terms that everybody can access. You already know these things if you're a fan of the movie. I'm just going to give you the technical terms and show you how John Williams has tricked you into liking opera. Let me switch screens here. Exactly, and that's the point I wanted to make is once you see the movies, all you need to do is hear a little bit of a piece of music and instantly you can recall the entire scene that came from. If you were to hear da 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 da, you instantly know you're on Tatooine. You're in the bar there at Tatooine where Luke and Obi-Wan meet Han Solo and Chewbacca for the first time. You know everything about it. You can remember the battle where Obi-Wan pulls out his lightsaber. You can remember that the droids were not allowed in the bar. That whole scene will flood back in your head. And that little tune is called, in music, it's called a leitmotif. And that is a trick from opera. That they would compose different little themes for each main character. They would compose different themes for an idea. And sometimes they would mix themes together or, transpose them to create a different feeling. But every time you hear da 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 da, what does that call to mind? That calls to mind Leia. That calls to mind Han Solo and their relationship. The little tune that's played when Yoda pulls the fighter out of the swamp for Luke. He's having trouble doing it, and Yoda pulls it out of the swamp for him. Just iconic themes. So I wanted to show you. I can't play the music, and I can't play the movies, or I'll get dinged for copyright. And I'm not monetized. That's not what I'm worried about, but I'm worried about copyright strikes. Because they will take your channel down if you get too many copyright strikes. So I don't want to steal anybody else's info. But I do have some visuals to share. The first one is, and by the way, hi Lisa. Welcome. It's Joey's World. Glad to see you here. If you're watching this on the replay, thank you so much for watching this on the replay. I make my videos more with the replay viewer in mind than the live person, because I know that, especially with the live place, Dean at the live place, he's got over 5,000 broadcasts a month, I think he said, and over Thank you, Lisa. And over 120 live streamers, and especially this week, there's a lot of people going live doing movie week at Dean at the Live Place. And by the way, if you go to theliveplace.com and check out, do a search for movies, you will see everybody this week who's doing wonderful videos on all of the movies. And yep. So here I have the covers from the movies in order. And I want you to think, when you look at the cover, what's the first thing you hear in your head? Because you do hear music because it's been associated for you. John Williams did this. We look at this first cover here, and the first thing we think is da 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 da, or we just hear those sounds are imprinted in our head. This is the limited edition cover, and we see all the characters here. There's another one with Darth Vader. This is from A New Hope, the fourth movie. The triple trilogy is out of order. Everybody knows that. There's a lot of facts I'm not going to cover simply because everybody knows them, or you don't know them. And if you don't know them, you're not a Star Wars fan. You're probably not watching this anyway. This is from The Empire Strikes Back. Thank you very much, Lisa. This is from The Empire Strikes Back. There's the AT-ATs. I love the AT-ATs. I cannot wait. And incidentally, I am in talks with my oldest kid about getting down to Disneyland once they're open and we can buy tickets. We're looking at prices. We're looking at saving up money. I just basically told him, look, CJ and I are going. If y'all want to come along, you're more than welcome. And so I'm going to do it. Hopefully I'll sell enough albums. I've got an album out now. I've got an album coming out on Black Friday. And hopefully I can sell enough albums that I can get to Disneyland. Anyway, this is Empire Strikes Back, which he used some of the same music, and we'll look at that in a minute. And then we have The Return of the Jedi. Who can forget that lovely bikini that she wore? It's always been my dream to make one of those for cosplay, you know. And little Ewoks, everybody remembers the Ewoks. What do you remember? They changed the music for the Ewoks between the first release and the re-release of this. I remember when it was dum dum da 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 da, and it was singing and num num nub nub. And then in the later releases, they changed it to a more orchestral sounding theme. And that's the one where Yoda passes away. They play Yoda's theme again. Then we get into the first three movies. Now, a fact we'll cover in a few minutes when I get to it is that John Williams wrote all the music for all 9 movies. And then he got to the point, once he wrote the music for the last of the 9 movies, he went, you know what? I'm done. You got to find somebody else. You can use the music I've already written, but I'm done writing new music. And the thing is, a lot of these movies use the same leitmotifs or the same themes over and over again. I mean, we have the bum ba ba bum ba ba bum 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 ba 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 bum. When you hear that, instantly, if you just hear somebody on a piano play bum ba ba bum ba ba bum, the first thing you think is Star Wars. And that's because we had this uniform song cycle, basically, through all of these movies. So here we have the Attack of the Clones, the Phantom Menace, the Attack of the Clones, and then the Revenge of the Sith. The iconic battle back here in this first one with the Sith Lord, where Qui-Gon gets killed. That is an imprinted one in your head. If you hear the ah, and actually that was a a Celtic poem. The lyrics in that were a Celtic poem translated to Sanskrit. And the Sanskrit basically says, there's two people fighting. There's a battle on the outside, but there's also a battle behind in the head. That battle between the Sith and Qui-Gon was not just a physical battle. They were battling mentally too. Then Attack of the Clones, and then Revenge of the Sith, and then we get into the last three movies, which they don't have the Force Awakens, they have The Last Jedi. They don't have the 9th movie on this website, but trust me, it's there, and I love all of them. There are people who say some parts of the trilogy are better than others. Personally, I look at it as all 9 movies as a continuous story. And in stories, there are characters you don't like. You're supposed to not like them. Anakin, you're not supposed to like him when he's young. He's a cute boy, but underneath is still that evil that makes him poisoned and easily persuaded. You're not supposed to like him. So don't be so harsh on the actors. They're just playing their characters. And this is an opera, a modern day opera. So here's some covers, and then on into the Rogue One and the Solo movie. I thought Rogue One was a fantastic addition to the Star Wars movie. However, some of the music came from John Williams a little bit, but not much. It was written by someone else because they wanted to expand the universe, not because they wanted to change it or make it something different. This is kind of a backstory. If you're a gamer, you understand backstories, or an actor, you understand backstories. And this one was not meant to continue on this legacy. This one was meant to give you a backstory. Okay, I'll tell you, I want to tell you this story, but let me back up and tell you another story first, and then you'll understand. So this one could have been put way back up here in, it's kind of a prequel to all of these movies. It's the backstory. Anyway, what I really wanted to show you is this. And let me see if I can shrink it down a little bit so I can get it all in my screen here. This is a PDF file. There is a professor let me find his information. I had it here just a second ago and then I lost it. Frank Lehman. He is the associate professor of music at Tufts University, and he has devoted his life to cataloging the music of Star Wars, specifically John Williams' music of Star Wars. This catalog is adapted from a more thorough and detailed investigation published in John Williams' Music for Films, Television, and Concert Stage. It's available at frank.lehman at tufts.edu if you're interested in it. It's a wonderful little document. It talks about the original trilogy, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, the prequel trilogy, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, and the sequel trilogy, The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker, and then anthology films and miscellaneous, Rogue One, Solo, and Galaxy's Edge. Let's talk about Galaxy's Edge, because I'm gonna see Galaxy's Edge. I'm so excited about it. The main theme. These are John Williams' themes. He wrote these things. And this is the musical notation for it. I'm not going to sing it or play it because, like I said, hi, Amy from AJC Magic TV. Good to see you. Welcome in. I'm so happy you're here. Um, have I missed anybody? Nope. Okay, I got everybody in the chat. But these are the musical themes from Galaxy's Edge that John Williams did write. So every time you're in Galaxy's Edge, you still got a piece of that Star Wars magic, even though Batuu is supposed to be part of the universe, part of the whole Star Wars franchise, but it's someplace separate. You know, you don't see Luke and Leia there. And I kind of like that in a way. I think the Batuu more aligns with the Mandalorian than it does with anything else. Anyway, here's your main theme. Here's the second main theme. Here's the secondary theme. Here's the fanfare that plays. And I'm gonna be there. I don't know when, but I'm gonna be there. They're gonna be opening soon. So here is Episode 4, A New Hope, 1977. This is when John Williams first started writing for Star Wars. You can look at this, and if you know anything about reading music, you don't even have to. The little black dots are short notes. The big round things are long notes. So we have da 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 da. If you hear da 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 da, what's the first thing you think about? Star Wars. That's imprinted in your head. Da 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 da. Star Wars. Here's the Rebel fanfare. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. That's called the Force theme. And it's Imperial Attack 1, the war. And then here's the theme I was talking about, Leia's theme. Da 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 da. This is the theme you hear when Leia's on the screen. And if I could sing it better, you'd hear it. Then here's an Imperial theme here. This document is beautiful. And like I said, I have to sing them and sing them badly so I don't get dinged. Here's the Death Star theme. Jawas. The Jawas had a theme, if you remember. Just close your eyes and think about the little brown guys in the capes, and you will hear it in your head. You already know it. The TIE Fighter attack. The Throne Room. That's when they got their medals. Da da da. Let me get it in my head. Da 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 da. And that's when R2 comes wobbling out and you get that rush of good feeling. He was a master at putting the feelings into the music. Then we have The Empire Strikes Back, the Darth Vader Imperial March. Da 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 da. And what else do you hear when you hear that? Instantly you hear the breathing from Darth Vader's mask immediately when you hear the first 5 notes, and you don't have to be musical. Han and Leia's theme. Da 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 da. And scruffy looking. Who you calling scruffy looking? By the way, fun fact about the Star Wars movies. I went through and counted one time. There is one line that is common to every movie. And various characters say it, but it is said at least once in every movie of all 9 movies. And in fact, I think it's said in Rogue One also, and also in Solo. And that line is, I have a bad feeling about this. And Just that's your little fun fact for the day. I went through and counted, and I think I got 26 times, but that was just with the first 6 movies. 26 times. I know C3PO says it. Han Solo says it. I can't remember the rest of the characters. Lando says it. It's said quite a bit. Here's Yoda's theme. And this is a theme that is playing, I think the one time that it really strikes you and the vision you get when Yoda's theme is playing here is when he's pulling like I said, he's pulling the fighter out of the water, the swamp water for, I don't know why I keep looking over here, because that's where my screen is for my cameras. I need to be looking here. I'll get this streaming thing down. Professional streamer here. Stand back. Da 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 da. Can't sing that one for you this morning. But these are Yoda's themes. And we're going to go through all of these. So here's the droid themes. That's what's playing when R2-D2 and C3PO. And when you hear it immediately, this is Imperial Probe. So I'm going to guess this is Empire Strikes Back. Boba Fett even has a theme. And then Cloud City. That's where Lando Calrissian is. When they first meet him. And then here's Return of the Jedi. Jabba the Hutt. The theme that's playing the Big Thaw when Han is thawed from the carbonite. Here's the B section of the Jabba's prisoners. The Emperor's has a march right here. Da 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 da. That's in bass clef. The Ewok parade. Da 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 da. The Ewok horn. I loved the Ewoks. I think they were my favorite of all. Here's Luke and Laura. Da 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 da. And then the Victory Fanfare. Da 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 da. Jabba's End. All right, now we're into the Phantom Menace. 1999. Here's the Droid March, and if you do read music, you'll notice it's very similar to the droid theme from the last movie. Here's Darth Maul's theme. Jar Jar even had a theme. A lot of people don't like Jar Jar. I do, because of growing up in that kind of slapstick comedy. There are theories that Jar Jar, that was all an act, that Jar Jar was actually a Jedi. I don't know. I know that he provided a lot of comic relief, and a lot of purists wanted to criticize and second guess the movies and everything. But personally, I think Jar Jar was an important character. He was very needed. And I think there was a lot more to him than a lot of people gave him credit for. Young Anakin. Yeah, he was a 9-year-old boy. A super 9-year-old boy. Give him a break. And then Qui-Gon's theme. Shmi's theme. And I was going to look up Shmi. Anakin is free. Shmi is Anakin's mother, I believe. Duel of the Fates theme. And this is the one, the laser fight. This is the one that the words, the sung words, are in Sanskrit. They've been translated, like I said, from a Celtic poem that basically says there's a battle going on the outside and the inside. It's a very long poem. There's a lot to it. Jar Jar is a bit too much. Oh no, the key to streaming is just sit here and talk like you're talking to someone. That's the key to streaming. But the best advice I got about streaming, a little side note here, actually was from Dole Whip Dad. And I believe he got it from one of the TubeBuddy streamers, or one of his iconic streamers that he watches. And that is, do your live streams for the people who are going to watch your videos later. Pay attention in the chat, talk with your viewers and everything, but mainly do your video for the people who are going to watch it on the replay, because that's where you're going to build your audience. So I just try and I go back to my teaching days when I was a classroom teacher. Taught adult education and computer skills and administrative assistant skills, things like that. And I go back to those days, the old days when we had to develop our own curriculum and everything. So anyway, back to the music. The Duel of the Fates. And then the funeral. And there are words down here. This must be the Sanskrit down here. There's lyrics down here. Qui-Gon's funeral, yeah. And conspiracy, thwarted attempts. Here's a theme for gloomy courtship. And John Williams wrote all of these with this specific. This is what he called these themes. And Lord, the man must have kept a database, because these themes not only appear, this is where they first appear, but they're all through all of the movies. He will take one and change it and use it later. Then, oops, I went backwards. General Grievous, here's his theme. Battle of Heroes, this was where heroes collide. This is all, and then Descent, the dinner scene in Revenge of the Sith. Then we get to The Force Awakens. Here's Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren. This is aggressive, the first one. Redeemed is the second one. Hesitant is the third. Menacing. Here's the First Order's theme. Snoke's theme. And here we have it in looks like more Sanskrit. But each one of these musical themes, here's Rey's theme. This is, and the little text is sweeping, chimes, and gallop. March of the Resistance. A section, and I Found the Droid. Starry Night, the Invasion of the Village. Poe's theme. And the Invasion of the Village, I believe that is where, look how bold this is. These are longer notes. And they're not complicated. It's a very much an undertone, and it pulses. Golly, can you imagine? Can you imagine what he did writing all this? I mean, even Rose has a theme. Desperation. Goodness. This is all Sith music here. This is Heroes. The Knights of Ren. And then Friendship. And here it looks, if you put it side by side with like the throne room scene and the scenes of big happiness. Oh, please enjoy your lunch, Amy. Yes, it is lunchtime for you guys over there. It's just barely breakfast time for me. I'm still on my first cup of coffee. And then Victory Hymn. And the main theme doubles as a character theme for Luke Skywalker. The characteristic half cadence at the conclusion of each phrase is a potential source of the rebel fanfare. While not an independent leitmotif or theme, The main theme's B section is heard in isolation and attached from the first phrase. The Rebel Fanfare is a good case study in the kinds of semantic migration which the motives are prone. It begins firmly as a motive for the rebellion in A&H, but by TFA, he abbreviates the movie titles here, and especially Solo, it can behave as an all-purpose heroic motif, and sometimes as a theme specifically for the Millennium Falcon. Yay, Millennium Falcon! Who doesn't love that ship? Oh, I can't wait to get to Batuu and see all this, because I saw the original Star Wars in the theater on like the second or third day it was out in 1977, and it blew me away because of the music. And I remember a local radio station had a thing called Album Hour, where they would play an album every Saturday night at 11 o'clock. They would play an entire album. And the night that they played the Star Wars A New Hope album, the soundtrack album, I had my boombox right next to my radio, and I recorded it on a cassette tape. So I had my first pirating. I had that and listened to it over and over again. The Force theme is the most common and flexible leitmotif in the series. It can also be considered a theme for Obi-Wan, Fate and Destiny, or an all-purpose leitmotif. And then he changed it a little bit and used it throughout the rest of the series. The Death Star also serves as a generic motif for Imperial ships. So what you have here is, like I said, he created these little motifs, but he used them in different places, and he trained your brain so that anytime you heard this particular tune, you knew what you were watching on screen. And I think that's another thing that makes the movie so appealing is you don't have to guess what's going on. You hear the music and you say, oh, ooh, Darth Vader's somewhere around because I heard his music, you know, or uh-oh, Luke and Leia and Han are gonna have a conversation here because I hear that music, you know. That's how you know that the characters didn't die, even though it looked real bad, because you hear the music and you're like, oh, okay, they're still alive, or their memory is still alive, you know. Young Anakin's theme shares DNA or shares similarities with the Imperial March and is developed thoroughly in the movie, one of the movies, although it's hardly referenced it's developed thoroughly in the first of the prequel trilogy, but then in the second or third, it's hardly referenced at all. Shmi's theme is initially presented as a one-off theme in The Phantom Menace and is given limited but real development in the next movie, but it's hidden in the third of the prequel movies, Return of the Sith. It's quite cryptic. It's just an undertone there, but you do hear it. Here's the thing about the Han and Leia's love theme has been put forward as a theme specifically for Han Solo himself. This is supported by the fact that the first instance of the theme in Empire Strikes Back involves Han, but not Leia. And a quote from an interview in 1997 with Craig Bird, where Williams, after being asked about Han's theme, gave a rather nondescript but affirmative answer. However, almost every usage in the film where the theme appears links closely with Han and Leia's relationship. 2 concert arrangements, both entitled Han Solo and the Princess. The B section interestingly resembles Kylo Ren's redeemed variant. And there he goes tying in the genealogy and everything else. And that's why the music is so important. I think the music tells the story and imprints it in your brain. Let's move down a little bit. Here we are in the sequel trilogy, the last three. Interesting, while virtually every statement of the main Kylo Ren motif in the sequel trilogy soundtracks is as a motto theme, short and incomplete as a musical thought. There are two instances of its suggesting a longer and more traditional four-measure theme, but dissolves into a march statement at the conclusion. The First Order motif was meant to play a larger role in the last three movies than it does in the final cut. A lot of things did get cut. Here's some Rogue One themes. This paper is just fantastic. If you're a musician or you're into musical notation, this document is just fantastic. Frank Lehman is a genius with cataloging all of this. And again, this was compiled by Frank Lehman. Frank Lehman at Tufts.edu. He is a professor at Tufts University. Young Han Solo searching secrets. And here we even have the time notations in the movie of when these themes come in. Han and Chewie, Chewbacca. Oh my gosh, I love Chewbacca. And then here's the Galaxy's Edge themes again that we looked at. And here's incidental motifs. Starry Night, ethereal piccolo solo, only used within Sieg from the main title into opening underscore into with similar figures employed. Da 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 da. It's just a little theme that, but if you heard it, yeah, scum and villainy, diminutive creatures, sand people. The sand people even have their own theme. Anyway, let me get to this other thing. Share some facts about John Williams and the music of Star Wars. This is from wikipedia.org. The music of the Star Wars franchise is composed and produced in conjunction with the development of feature films, television series, and other merchandise within the epic space opera franchise created by George Lucas. The music for the primary feature films, which serves as a basis for the rest of the related media, was written by John Williams. John Williams scores count among the most widely known and popular contributions to modern film music. I believe this entirely. Something that they do nowadays in film is they write the movie and then they go and find music that's already been written and pull it in and plug it in there. Whereas in this film, this music was written specifically for the film, just like other John Williams soundtracks. And that's what's really cool is you know a John Williams tune when you hear it. He wrote the music for E.T. He wrote the music for Jurassic Park. And listen to Jurassic Park and then listen to Star Wars and then listen to E.T. and you will hear his signature sounds. John Williams loves French horn. And he uses French horn and low brass an awful lot, but mostly French horn, because that was his instrument. He additional composers has since contributed to other movies and media within the Star Wars universe. For the animated television series spin-offs, Kevin Kiner and Ryan Shore. Video games, the whole universe, it's been written by other people, but they've revisited some of Williams' principal themes to make that cohesiveness throughout the whole universe. The scores are primarily performed by a symphony orchestra of varying sizes, joined in several sections by a choir of varying sizes. What did I tell you? John Williams brought back opera in a modern way that people can relate to it. It is opera. And just think about watching Star Wars with just some generic, music in the background. Just like Guardians of the Galaxy. The music made that, but the majority of the music wasn't composed for it. They took songs that would mean something to people who liked them, and that's how they drew the older people into Guardians of the Galaxy. Star Wars was not a kid's film. Star Wars was not a boomer film. Star Wars was not an adult film, but it was meant to be universal in its themes. And even if you don't like classical music, you still like Star Wars music. Here's all the Star Wars music and who wrote or contributed to the films, the spin-off, and things like that. The television music, the video game music. But it all comes back to initially John Williams' initial work in 1977. If you haven't paid attention to the music, you still have. But I plan to sit down and have me a movie marathon with all 9, 10, 11, all 12 movies. The Mandalorian music, there is a thing on Disney Plus, The Making of the Mandalorian, and one of the shows does a section on the young man who composed the music for that. And I think it's brilliant. I think he did a fantastic job of keeping that Star Wars universe feel, but making it something entirely its own. But still it has that imprinting quality that if you hear the first 3 notes, hey, car key, I found my car key. Yes. Those themes, that ambient music is composed of parts of the themes that we went through. And like I said, it imprints on your head in that you hear a little bit of Leia's theme and you go, oh, or like in da 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 da, there's a little in an English horn. And when you hear that, it's going to be something a little silly and a little comic. It's not going to be serious. You can take a breather in this point. John Williams does that. He scheduled in how you're supposed to feel. So you hear something that reminds you of Darth Vader or the Imperial March, and you're going to start to get, oh my gosh, here comes Darth Vader. And then you'll hear something light like the little English horn, which calls you back to the cantina. Happy times, good times. You're in the cantina, you're having a drink, and everything. And so, okay, so this is going to be lighter, or this is going to be dark. Williams re-recorded some of his suites from the first trilogy with the Skywalker Symphony Orchestra as an album. Several of his later themes were released as singles and music videos, and were later released in a collection of suites from the 6 films as a compilation that played a series of clips from the film with sparse dialogue and sound effects. These became the basis for a series of hour-long concerts which featured Star Wars music to images of the film. Star Wars in Concert, which took place in 2009 and 2010, was first performed in London, and it went on tour across the United States and Canada, playing in London, Ontario, Canada, on July 25th, 2010. The scores of the first trilogy, in the form of its Blu-ray release and The Force Awakens, are performed as live-to-projection concerts, but with greatly reduced forces. The performances follow the music of the finished film, with some of the music looped, tracked, or omitted entirely, and do not feature any of the diegetic. I needed to look. I'm sorry I did not do as much diligence on this as I should have. and often omit the choral parts. This is about his orchestration, woodwinds, brass, six horns, doubling on Wagner tubas. Wagner was a big influence. He wrote Das Rheingold, which is a opera, a whole song series, The Ring by Wagner. It was an opera trilogy, and he was a big influence on John Williams' writing. John Williams borrowed some things from Wagner and from other composers. Some non-orchestral instruments, the Cretan lyra and kumbas, electric guitar, toy piano, and kazoo, Highland bagpipes, and a didgeridoo. I think I read somewhere the didgeridoo was used with the Sand People. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up here because I'm coming up on my time. I like to do about 50 minutes. Here we go. Let's see if we can play this. Let's see if we can play this. Hold on. I'm gonna do it this way. That's the first motive of the overture. Instantly, when you hear that, it calls up images in your head, doesn't it? If you just hear that much, what do you think about? It brings a flooding of images to my head. When I hear that one, I think about when I hear that one, that's Ben Kenobi's theme. That's the Force theme. And immediately I'm taken to the cockpit of the fighter where Luke is sitting there and he's getting in, he's fighting with the other ones. There's the Death Star and in A New Hope. And he hears Ben say, "Use the Force, Luke." And he turns off his targeting computer, and then here's the... Whose theme is that? That is Princess Leia's theme. Iconic music. And I do believe the music is more important to the stories than even the videography. They could have shot a horrible movie, but they put the soundtrack to it, and it was ultimately fantastic. Just you can go to the internet, put a search in John Williams Star Wars music, and there is just a wealth of information. I do want to credit, let me go back, and I'm going to credit this guy in my chat. I gotta, hold on, it's going to take me just a second. Oh man, let's put this over here and go back to this. I want to credit this guy. It's very important. I have to get up on the screen just to see it because I don't have my glasses on. Oh golly, I can't even see that. Let me do this. Maybe that will work. There we go. This is Frank Lehman. I credit him for this document that I've been speaking from. He is a professor at Luff University. He cataloged this whole thing. It's a wonderful PDF file. You can download it for personal use. And let's see. What's going on about tech? Who needs help with tech? I can help you with tech. Oh, I don't blame you, Lisa. But if you have questions about tech and you think I can help you, feel free to message me. Everything that I do, I figured out from scratch. But I do have a son-in-law who is an IT/tech/genius, and I can ask him questions too. He's really smart. He built my system. So, but anyway, yeah, if you have tech questions, hit me up, Lisa. I'll be happy to help you. I thank y'all for coming today. If you're watching the replay, be sure and leave me a comment and say Replay Squad. I love getting comments from my viewers. I answer every comment. I love reading them. I'm here all by myself all day, so it's nice to get comments from real life people. Because I spend so much time talking to a little box with a red light on it. I'm waiting for it to look back at me and oh, your TV went black. Is it a Roku TV, a TCL? Yeah, I have a TCL Roku TV, and I've found, go on the internet and search the World Wide Web, or go to the manufacturer of your TV, and they usually have a FAQ file or an email. Oh yeah, my son-in-law is amazing, and he's also a Star Wars fan, and he and I are we have a lot in common. Whereas he and my daughter may not have some things in common. She's not as big a Star Wars fan as I am, but he and I get along with we can't wait to get to Batuu, and but also we sit and watch the space launches together. We're big into the space program and things like that. So a TCL Roku, yeah, if you go to the TCL website, they have a FAQ and some troubleshooting things which are really, really good, and they can help you figure out what's going on with it. I know my TCL Roku TV has been acting kind of weird lately too. So yeah, my son likes to change the colors to black and stuff. So good luck with that, Lisa. Man, I gotta get out of here. I could talk all day. I could talk all day about everything. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much. Try and come back. I know Sunday is a busy day for everybody. This Sunday at 4 p.m. West Coast, 7 p.m. East Coast. I know Pete McDevitt comes on at 4:30. I know there's a bunch of other streamers. But you can catch the replay later in the week. We're doing Halloween decorations, and this Sunday I got some pumpkins from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to paint them and make them look like these designer pumpkins you can get in the high-end home decor store. And yeah, we're continuing on our pennies on the dollar Halloween decoration streams. Last week we made some candle holders, crystal, and they're beautiful. So make sure you check that out if you haven't watched it yet. Thanks a lot for being here. Again, thanks to The Live Place for hosting this movie week. Go to theliveplace.com, search movies, and check out all of the wonderful streamers across all of the communities. We have Disney folks, we have RVers, we have cruisers, we have cooks, lifestyles. We have all sorts of people doing shows about movies this week. Karki, it was my pleasure. Thanks so much. Peace and blessings to you, to all you love, and to all who love you. We are going to get through these times. I know they're tough, but, sometimes when all you can do is make paper boats, make paper boats. To everything, there's a season. And right now, the season seems to be to find contentment and peace in your own space in the moment that you're in. Worry only makes things worse. Find your passion, grab a hold of it, and don't let anything get in your way. Have a great week. I'll see you guys Sunday, okay? Bye.